of hundreds of dogs before the game today. And they're all dressed in various paraphernalia. Big dogs, little dogs, all kinds of dogs here at 3Com Park. It's also Beanie Baby Day, so we're going to have a good crowd here at 3Com Park. Youngsters getting the Beanie Babies. And
Jake, the sport dog right there, slam dunking about 10 Beanie Babies.
He also put a basketball through the hoop. And the Phillies are hoping this is not a dog day afternoon for them behind Curt Schilling. Schilling has good numbers against the Giants as far as ERA, but not wins losses. He's 2-4 against San Francisco. A great ERA of 2.75, but the Phils just don't seem to score him runs when he faces the Giants. Gorgeous afternoon here in San Francisco, 65 degrees. Humidity 67%. Winds 18 miles per hour. And looking at our Pico Energy power rankings, yes, Sammy Sosa has hit one today. He has tied Mark McGwire. They each have 54. McGwire will be playing a night game at St. Louis later on. Junior Griffey also hit one. He hit his 46th against the New York Yankees. The Seattle pounding New York in that game 10-2. Rafael Palmeiro has 41. Giants are taking the field. The men in blue this afternoon. Cowboy Joe West has the plate. Jeff Nelson at first base. Chip Quick, the crew chief, at second, and Kerwin Danley at third. Terry Francona's starting lineup this afternoon. He'll have Doug Glanville in center field leading off. Wendell McGee, left fielder, bats second. Scott Rowland at third base, hitting third. Rico Prodia, first baseman, bats fourth. Bobby Abreu, right fielder, hits fifth. Mark Lewis at second base will bat sixth. Bobby Estalella, the catcher, bats seventh. Alex Arias at shortstop, hitting eighth, and Curt Schilling, the pitcher, batting ninth. Defensively for Dusty Baker's Giants, Bill Miller at third, Rich Aurelia at shortstop, Jeff Kent at second, Charlie Hayes at first, Brian Johnson catching, Barry Bonds in left field, Ellis Burks in center, and Marvin Bernard in right. On the mound is the 24-year-old rookie, Russ Ortiz.
Ortiz is making his ninth major league start. He's 2-3 with the 5.22 earned run average. 58 2/3 innings, getting up 56 hits. Had some trouble with control. 34 walks in those 58 2/3, 54 strikeouts. Opponents hitting 252 off of him. He's faced the Phillies earlier this year. Did not fare too well in one start. He pitched 4 1/3 innings, gave up 8 hits, walked a couple, struck out 3. Gave up 6 runs in that outing.
But the Giants came back to win that ball game as they swept the Phils at Veterans Stadium. This series is even a 1 game apiece. Terry Francona and Dusty Baker. Dusty's Giants are 2 games behind the Mets in the wild card chase and 1 game behind the Cubs. Cubs are winning at Colorado 4-1 as Sammy Sosa's homered in that game. Doug Glanville will lead it off for the Phils. He didn't stay below the 300 mark very long. Glanville yesterday was hitting .299. The first time since May 10th he had dropped below 300, but a 3-hit game moved that average back up to 302. Birthday wishes to Ruth Lebonsky, celebrating her 81st birthday. She'll be celebrating actually tomorrow in Marlton, New Jersey. Senior Citizens Village, where all the gang's watching this afternoon. 1 ball and 1 strike to Doug Glanville. Popped him up, foul, playable. Charlie Hayes gives way to the second baseman. Jeff Kent makes the play for out number 1. Phils are 5th in the league in team batting. 3rd to last actually in home runs with 105. Only Pittsburgh and Florida have hit fewer. That's went past the Phillies. Mets have 107. Stolen bases right up there with 82. They have a good stolen base percentage. Here's Wendell McGee. He's 1 for 4. Hit a home run in his first at bat since joining the Phils yesterday.
His next 2 bats after that, he just missed a couple of pitches. Talking to Francona, he liked what he saw. You know, it's just 1 game, but he thought he had a nice approach, and he did just miss a couple other pitches, high pop-ups his second and third at bat yesterday.
2 balls and no strikes to McGee. 100th birthday wishes to Mrs. Emily Burkhardt of Warrington, Bucks County, who now lives at Seashore Gardens Retirement Home in Atlantic City. Wishes to Emily Burkhardt from the staff and residents of Seashore Gardens and from us, celebrating the big century. 3-0 to Wendell McGee.
I think Al McRae said it best. If Wendell McGee can handle the breaking ball here, he's got a chance to be a pretty good hitter.
Came a green light, and he hits it deep to center, but it's going to be caught at the warning track by Ellis Burks. Sam McGee got a 3-0 green light, and he sent it deep, but to the deepest part of the ballpark.
Francona likes to do that. I mean, he likes to give these guys, a lot of them, he gives them free rein, gives them the green light, likes to show confidence in them in that respect.
A little bit surprised here in the first inning that Wendell had a green light 3-0.
It is, because Wendell could run pretty good too.
Scott Rowland takes one on the inside corner for a called strike. Rowland hitting at .288. 25 homers. He has knocked in 96. Now balls and 2 strikes to Rowland.
Russ Ortiz pitches very well the first few innings. He's got a 1.88 earned run average over the first 3 innings, and after that it's 11.12.
And he gets rolling on 3 pitches to retire the side. No runs, hits, errors, and none left after 1/2 Phils. Nothing. Giants coming to bat. In the top of the first, San Francisco batting in the bottom half, and Dusty Baker's starting lineup. Marvin Bernard in right field leads off. Rich Aurelius shortstop bats second. Barry Bonds left fielder hitting third. Jeff Kent at second base bats fourth. Charlie Hayes first baseman bats fifth. Ellis Burks in center field will hit sixth. Bill Miller the third baseman batting seventh. Brian Johnson catching hitting eighth. Russ Ortiz the pitcher will bat ninth. Scott Rowland at third behind Curt Schilling. Alex Arias at short today. Mark Lewis at second. Rico Brony at first. Bobby Estelea catching. Wendell McGee in left field. Doug Glanville in center. Bobby Abreu in right. And Curt Schilling on the mound for the Phils.
Schill's going to try and get above that 500 mark. He's 12-12 in 29 starts. 3.21 earned run average. Puts him in the top 10. 221 and 2/3 innings, which leads the National League. 193 hits. Very good strikeout to walk ratio. 253 to 51. At 253 strikeouts leads the National League. Opponents hitting 233 off of him. Lefties and righties both very close.
And that's 6th best in the league. Marvin Bernard leads it off, hitting at .330. Against the Phillies, all he's doing is hitting .583 this year.
Yeah, he's struggling a little bit.
Strange the way things work out. When they traded Darrell Hamilton for Ellis Burks to Colorado, all of a sudden Bernard got a chance to play, and he has made the most of that opportunity. Since they put him in the leadoff spot, he's batting .413.
The trade worked out great for him, and it more so not even anything to do with the trade. Just the fact that Bernard got to play.
Second leading hitter in August behind only Colorado's fine rookie Todd Helton. Ground ball shortstop Alex Arias retires Bernard, and that is a good sign. 1 down. It'll bring on Rich Aurelia. Giants are 4th in the league in hitting. 4th in runs per game. Middle of the pack in home runs and also in stolen bases. Their ERA is .415, but the bullpen has the 2nd lowest ERA in the National League at 3.12. Second only to Pittsburgh. Rich Aurelia hitting at .282. 1 strike to Aurelia. I feel like we mentioned 2-4 against the Giants lifetime. Here at 3-com, he's 1-2, but has posted a 2.50 ERA. He has pitched well against the Giants, but didn't get all that many W's against them.
He struggled early in his last start against them, July 31st. Giving up 4 early runs first inning. After that, the next 5 innings only gave up 1 more. 1 hit, I mean.
Ooh. Just missing the inside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And Ken Griffey has hit another home run at Yankee Stadium. He now has 47 of them.
He was in a long drought for a while, didn't hit much at all, and now he's coming on.
1-2 to Rich Aurelia. Check swing, still 1-2. Maybell and Ted Rouch from Haverford, longtime season ticket holders at Veterans Stadium, are here at 3-com Park cheering for the Phils today. Popped him up. Shortstop Alex Arias giving way to Mark Lewis. Wind kind of pushed that back toward Lewis, who makes the catch for out number 2. And it'll bring up Barry Bonds. Bonds hit his 28th home run of the year here yesterday. He has 98 runs batted in.
Schilling and Bonds had some words after that brawl the last time the Phillies or Giants were in Philadelphia. And interesting to see what, I don't think hitting him is what he's going to do, but I think he might send a message, possibly.
Fastball at the knees for a called strike. 0-1 to Barry Bonds. Birthday wishes to John Doug Henry today. Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania, celebrating his 78th. 1-1 to Barry Bonds with 2 outs and no base runners. Grounded sharply, but right at Alex Arias, who was playing him perfectly, and Bonds is retired. A 1-2-3 inning for Schilling. No runs, hits, errors, and none left. After 1, it's a 0-0 game.
Well, there's a young fan here at 3-com today. The Giants have a nice crowd on hand at the ballpark this afternoon. They had 30,147 here yesterday. This one probably in that area, if not a little bit larger. They were giving some Beanie Babies away, and they had this day where you can bring your dog to the ballpark.
They don't count the dogs, do they?
Well, we'll see when they give the attendance, see if they give a separate attendance. Rich Aurelia, the batter. You get a canine count also. Aurelia, Bonds, and Kent to bat here in the 4th. Aurelia batting out of the 2-hole. He had a pop up to Mark Lewis at second, his first time up. There's another towering pop-up. Who wants it? These are an adventure. Whoa, and Mark Lewis makes the play. Let's pause for station identification on the Phillies television network.
You're watching Phillies baseball on WPHL-TV Philadelphia.
And that'll bring up Bonds, who had a ground ball to short his first time up. Phillies had him positioned perfectly. Alex Arias playing him up the middle, and he hit a ground ball right at Alex. Bonson. Fly ball to left field hit. Well, it is a home run. Bonds took it out to left field. His 29th of the year, and it's 1-0 San Francisco.
But Bonds was just looking out over the plate the other way last time up. Threw a first 2 pitches fastballs. Good fastballs knee high on the corner. Barnes has the ability to do exactly that, hit the ball out the other way. Here you see it. Estes sitting out there, and he gets a fastball. It's not a bad pitch, especially first pitch. You know, you don't want to be trying to paint.
So Bonds on his way to a 30-plus home run season again. He's been over 40 in his career. And the first run of the game is a home run. Jeff Kent, the batter. And they count 2-0 on Kent.
He didn't appear to stand there and watch that one as much as he usually does.
Why?
I don't know.
Maybe he didn't think it was gone.
I wasn't actually running hard either, but I think there's certain pitchers that, you know, if you show them up, they will low bridge you.
So you see his home runs now, 403, second only to Mark McGwire among active players. Well, Schilling and Bonds exchanged some unpleasantries through the media in Philadelphia during that incident.
They did
following that incident.
Did it to each other from the dugout. Schill in the dugout and Bonds in the Giants dugout at Veterans Stadium had some little shouting match going on against each other.
Of course, that's one way to get back. You know, get the ball out of the ballpark, and as you said, Schilling also might have the ability to dust a guy a little bit if he's not happy with something. So that's a good point why he ran around the bases a little faster. Kent with a ground ball. Lewis, good play. Can he get him? Yes.
Nice play.
Good play, Mark Lewis. 2 outs here in the 4th inning.
Looked like when he hit it, it was going to be through the hole, but that third gets watered down pretty good. It's not as, especially with the grass too, it slows the ball up a little bit, gives Louis a chance to get there. Makes a nice play.
Yeah, that's one of those base hits on turf, but not here.
Yeah.
And Charlie Hayes, the batter. Charlie struck out on a fastball his first time up. 2 hits in the game for the Giants. They produced the game's first run. The Phillies with just 1 hit through 4. Charlie playing at first base. Bill Miller plays most of the games here at third. Rowland has it on a big hop, throws on the run. 1 run on the homer by Bonds, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left. It is 1-0 on Barry Bonds' home run. Our thanks to 15-year-old Dan Demetrio from Turnersville, New Jersey, for sending in today's Dodge Stump the Expert trivia question, which was, including the 93-98 expansion teams, against which teams do the Phillies have their all-time best and worst winning percentages? And we're going to go with a combined answer.
Well, I'd say the Giants got to be one of them.
And the Astros. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Best is the Mets. How about that? The Mets, worst, the combined New York and San Francisco Giants. There is Lou Seal, the mascot of the Giants. A fanatic will be here tomorrow night, so we should have a little fun with old Lou. I think Lou's hung up a little bit there. Boy, that would be awful. Trying to get off that chain like that. That's why you got to unsnap that baby. Alex Arias is the batter. He has singled for the Phillies 1 hit and stolen a base. And a line drive over the head of Charlie Hayes at first last time up on a 3-2 count. I want to get back to your thought that was so rudely interrupted by that 6-3 double play. You remember it?
Yeah.
Proceed.
The Phillies have lost. They lost Portugal due to the knee surgery. They've lost Matt Beach now. They lost Tyler Green for a month. And they have been beset by injuries again to that pitching staff.
Easy play for Aurelia. Arias retired, 1 away, and that'll bring up Curt Schilling, who struck out attempting to bunt in the 3rd inning. Yeah, and the reason we brought that up was the line drive that hit Schilling, we think, in the back. And thankfully, that's where it hit him, and he was able to continue. And he's pitching very well here this afternoon. So is Russ Ortiz.
And Ricky Vitalico, another one on there. That's, talk about decimating a pitching staff.
This is the ballpark where Schilling got that base hit to right field one night, and Willie McGee threw the ball back in from right field, hit him right in the batting helmet. One of the weirdest plays you've ever seen.
He was by the bag. Schilling got by the bag and looked down, and all of a sudden, the ball was on the way. Willie McGee airmailed it. Just thinking about it makes me laugh.
It was a conkaroo, if there ever was one, and it stunned Schilling. She said he had passed the bag already, and here came that throw from McGee. 3-0 to Curt Schilling, trying to get on base as Ortiz has had excellent control, just walked one thus far, runs a 3-0 count on the Phil's pitcher.
That's something he's had trouble with in his starts. He's in 40 plus innings starting. He's walked 24.
He walked him on 4 pitches, and that one was way out of the strike zone. Yeah, you're right. His walk strikeout ratio has not been good. 34 walks, 54 strikeouts coming into the game.
And he's just trying to throw this right down the middle, and maybe that's a good sign, because he has had trouble after the 3rd inning. But you do not. I mean, you want to get to the Giant starters. You get to that bullpen, they have got a good one.
To Glanville, the batter, he has popped up and flied out. Takes a strike. Isn't that amazing? Throws 4 straight balls to the pitcher and then strike 1 to the leadoff man. That'll happen a lot.
That's where you see a guy walk somebody, especially on 4 pitches. You got to go up there and just about take a strike, because as a pitcher, that's a hard thing to do. Is, you're telling yourself, just throw a strike. You put more pressure on yourself to do it.
And Doug takes a low 1-1. Charlie Hayes playing way off Schilling at first, figuring he's not going to run, so he would rather take the right side away from Glanville, who hits a lot of balls that way, even though he's a right-handed batter. There he goes, right at Charlie. And Schilling got a great jump on the play because he was so far off the bag, so Hayes has to go to the bag, retire Glanville. Schilling at second with 2 outs for Wendell McGee.
Well, he does get a good jump. As soon as he makes contact, Schilling's gone. You see him there. Charlie might have had a play at second, but he wanted to make sure to get the 1 out.
I guess he was thinking that he'd given Schilling so much liberty there off the bag that it was going to be too close. But you're right, he had a play on him. There's Curt Schilling, the Phillies' second runner in scoring position today, both times with 2 outs. And Wendell's had some good swings today. He hit a fly ball to deep center field, had a chance at a home run his first time up, and then hit a humpback liner to short in the 4th.
I thought he had some good swings yesterday, even after the home run. A couple real high pop-ups that he just missed.
I think you can't help but notice it looks like he has a batting stance too. I mean, when he was up here before, he was so confused. It appeared he changed his stance between pitches. And 3 balls and no strikes now to Wendell McGee.
I don't think he'll get the green light this time.
Okay.
But I don't know. Baranowski's going to go out and talk to Ortiz now.
Might be just what you're talking about. Let's not throw him with your word a cookie.
Exactly.
Because he had a rip city at a 3-0 in the 1st inning and just missed a home run to dead center.
I think obviously the Giants are also aware of Ortiz's struggles after the 3rd inning. They'd love nothing more than him to get over that hump. Sometimes you do that as a pitcher. You go, 3 innings, you always struggle in 4th or 5th or whatever inning it is, and you get to that inning and it just becomes a mental block. Like, I gotta get out of this inning. I gotta get through this, and it becomes a thing where you think so much about it that you take yourself out of your own game.
72 pitches for Ortiz. Well, let's see what they do here. 3-0. After all that, he threw a fastball right down the middle. Good deke by Baranowski. Ripped to left field. Bond's going back. It is off the top of the wall. Scoring easily is Schilling. Wendell McGee with a bullet to left ties the game. 1-1, and did he rip that thing? Welcome back, Wendell.
Well, that's good to see, as that was a tracer. He gets a count in his favor, 3-1. He just saw a 3-0 fastball. He comes back with another one, gets that ball up a little bit middle in, and that's exactly where the hitter in that situation should be looking. You should be looking for something up middle in to drive, and he did. Schilling comes in to score easily. And this is crap. And he's going hard. Bonds might have had a play. McGee going hard all the way. Bonds dropped the ball out in the outfield.
Scott Rowland, the batter, takes a breaking ball for a strike. He struck out twice today. So Wendell with his second RBI, had an RBI yesterday, of course, on his solo homer. There he is on at second base. 2 outs in a tie ball game. Phillies break through with 1 run here in the 6th inning. And Rowland fouls it off. He's been buried in the count all day.
And for Wendell McGee, it's important too to put on a display this last month, and not that he would be given a job in spring training next year, but it could go a long ways to what they do if they feel like they have to go out and get somebody for left field, or if they are going to say, hey, Wendell McGee is getting a second chance. He's made the most of it. Let's go with him in left field.
Ooh. Breaking ball just a little outside.
Well, it's a curveball, and Rowland sees it's breaking and lets it go, and it was just off the plate.
Base hit center field. Scott Rowland. This will give the Phillies the lead. McGee scores easily, and Scott, who has been having all kinds of trouble today with this pitcher, Russ Ortiz, delivers there with a 2-out single. 2-1 Phillies.
And that's kind of sums up Russ Ortiz's problems. What they have been is he walks Schilling with 1 out, nobody on. He throws a fastball here, not a bad pitch, down and in. Actually, Rowland didn't hit it that hard, but got enough of it to get over really his head and bring McGee in to give him a 2-1 lead.
So Scott picks up RBI number 97 on the year as he heads towards 100 for the first time in his career. Rico Bronya has 95 on the year. There he goes. And Bronya fouls it off. So Rowland just took off. He was going to steal a base, or attempt to steal a base there on the first pitch. And see Bronya a little upset with himself because he knows Scott had this base stolen.
Well, somebody like Scott, too. I mean, he's a good base runner. Not blinding speed, but he runs hard. He reads a pitcher well, gets a good jump, and a lot of times, in this situation, a hitter will give the base runner a chance to steal the bag. But if you get a pitch that you like, as Bronya did, you can't sit back and let it go. If you get one you think you can drive, but it's a situation where you want to be selective with it also.
See, base stealer 7 for 9 off Russ Ortiz. That's another reason why Rowland took off on that first pitch.
He's got a big leg kick.
Scott started to go. This ball's ripped towards the corner. Rowland coming around second. Vukovic is going to wave him. Kent has the relay throw to the plate. He scores. 3-1 Phillies on a double by Rico Bronya. So Scott Rowland busted around second, gave John Vukovic a shot. He scored a 3-run inning for the Phillies here with 2 outs.
Bronya gets a fastball right there, middle in, and just turns on it.
Scott started to go. This ball's ripped towards the corner.
And that's what gives him a chance. That's what makes it possible for Vukovic to send him, is because he's going hard.
Julian Tavares, a right-hander, starting to throw as they're going to walk Bobby Abreu intentionally here with the right-handed Mark Lewis to bat next. There's Tavares, who we have not seen in this series. He also was on the disabled list when the Giants were in Philadelphia.
Roland and Bronya now at 96 and 97 RBIs. 97 for Roland, 96 for Rico.
Right as Rico just knocked in his 96 with his 30th double of the year. Bronya having another solid season. The Phillies have already extended him for next year. And there is Scott Rowland, who delivered in this inning with a 2-out hit and then came around from first as Bobby Abreu will take off on the intentional walk. Phillies now with runners at first and second and 2 outs. And Mark Lewis, the batter. Lewis has grounded into a double play and struck out. And here comes Dusty Baker. I think you saw when that intentional walk was going on, you saw Baker motioning, and that probably wanted Brian Johnson to get out there and kill some time for Tavares, who continues to throw, and Baker may be thinking about a pitching change as Ortiz breezes through the early innings and then struggles. That's why he's probably going to be a pretty good relief pitcher for this team someday when they get their rotation back. Ortiz will leave with 2 outs here in the 6th inning. The right-hander Julian Tavares will come on. Phillies lead at 3-1. We'll be right back. And there you see Phillies ahead 3-1 now as they've scored 3 runs with 2 outs here in the 6th inning to take a 2-run lead. And the line on Ortiz, 80 pitches, and that line of course is incomplete as he leaves with 2 men on base.
3 of those 4 hits in this inning, 2 of the walk.
Julian Tavares, a right-hander out of Santiago in the Dominican Republic. He's 6'2", 190-pounder. Came over from the Indians with Jose Vizcaino, Jeff Kent, a player to be named later, in exchange for Matt Williams and Trinidad Hubbard. That was back in November of '96. There you see the numbers on him coming to game number 49.
Phillies, I don't believe, have seen Tavares this year.
Right, he was on the disabled list when the Giants were in Philadelphia. He came off the DL on the 7th of August. Facing Mark Lewis. And the pitch is down and in for ball 1. Tavares pitched in the World Series for the Cleveland Indians a couple years ago. Back in '95. Lewis takes a strike call, 1-1. Rico Bronya, the base runner, on second. Bobby Abreu at first. Phillies with 3 runs in here in the 6th inning. There you see the runners, 1 ball and 1 strike. Almost hit him, 2-1. On deck is Bobby Estalella. And once again, it's a walk that the pitcher that causes problems. Phillies got Curt Schilling with a 1-out walk in this inning, and it's turned into 3 runs. And it was a 4-pitch walk to Schilling. Lewis, a pop-up right center field. Bernard coming in. He better hurry. Oh, he doesn't get it. 1 run scores. And stopping at third is Abreu. You could see there was confusion there. I mean, Kent's not going to get to that ball, and Bernard got a really late jump. Phillies lead it 4-1.
Well, it wasn't that far behind second base. I don't know if maybe Kent might have given up on it. He's going back. It's obviously an easier play for Bernard, but I think Kent going back. That's one thing in his high sky also. With the wind and the high sky, you're fighting the sun as well as the wind. Bernard just couldn't come up with it.
So that'll be a base hit and an RBI for Mark Lewis, and the Phillies have batted around. Bobby Abreu, you see the runner at third base. And at first with the single and his 50th run batted, it is Mark Lewis. Phillies lead at 4-1 with a 4-run 6th. Estalella has grounded out and popped up. Had run charge to the starter Ortiz. Way foul out of play down the line as he got on that one but hooked it.
Tavares has a pretty good arm, but he will throw some balls, get some balls up in his zone. Is this exactly what this one is? A fastball that middle of the plate and runs in a little bit. Bobby Estalella just turns on it.
Well, Phillies looking for more. They scored all these runs with 2 outs and had batted around here in the 6th. And Curt Schilling all of a sudden has a 3-run lead. Phillies trailed 1-0 coming into the inning. Fouled back. Giants are going to get another pitcher up in the bullpen. Another right-hander.
Well, they'll have the pitcher leading off the next inning, so they will need somebody else.
That is Chris Brock, who started 2 games against the Phillies last year when he was in the Atlanta organization. Dusty Baker looking on. And they're right in the middle of the wild card hunt are the San Francisco Giants, along with the Mets and the Cubs. Estalella called out a breaking ball. He thought it was inside. Phillies with 4 runs in the inning on 4 hits. They leave 2 men on base and have a 3-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Had RBI hits in that 4-run inning. Russ Ortiz knocked out in the 6th. And you see Bonds has his 29th of the year. Chris Brock will be the 3rd pitcher used by Dusty Baker and the Giants this afternoon. Leading it off is Alex Arias in the 7th inning. For play-by-play, here's Harry.
All right, thanks, Wheels. Brock, 28-year-old right-hander from Orlando, Florida, delivers a called strike to Alex Arias, who has singled and grounded out. Brock on for Taveras. Went a 3rd of an inning, gave up a hit and a strikeout. Chris Brock is appearing in his 10th game since the call-up, 0-0 with a 3.44 ERA. 18 1/3 innings, 20 hits, 7 runs, 12 strikeouts, and 5 walks. 2 balls and a strike to Alex Arias. Phillies on top 4-1. We're in the 7th inning. Missing inside, 3 balls and a strike. Brock was called up July 17th when they disabled Sean Estes. Estes about ready to return. Line drive to left field. Bonds won't get it. Base hit, Alex Arias. That'll bring on Curt Schilling, who'll try to move him along. Giants outfielders play deep, and balls like that are going to drop in front of them. Brock at Fresno was a starting pitcher. 17 starts. He was 11-3 with a 3.29 ERA. So he was pitching well at the AAA level. Schilling has struck out and walked, and that walk really turned it around for the Phils and for Russ Ortiz, the starting pitcher.
4-pitch walk. Had a chance to be a 1-2-3 inning. He had the 8, 9, and then top of the order. Here's Schilling. He's really upset with himself because he takes a lot of pride in getting a bunt down. Now he smokes Brian Johnson with a foul tip, but he wasn't able to get it down his first time up, and not able to get it down on that pitch.
1-1 the count to Curt Schilling. He gets it down nicely. That'll be his 11th sacrifice of the year. Moving Arias to second base. Sacrifice goes Ortiz to second baseman Jeff Kemp. So Schill gets the job done, and the batter will be Doug Glanville.
There's Doug Glanville, who is 0 for 3 today. The Phillies have seen this Chris Brock before a couple times. He was with Atlanta last year, and he started 2 games against them. He started that game in Atlanta when Ruffcorn was pitching that weird no-hitter.
With about 3 or 4 walks and 4 or 5 hit batsmen.
Yeah, right.
When Keith Lockhart hit a grand slam.
Hit that off Ron Blazier later on after Ruffcorn had left the game and did not know he had a no-hitter.
Granville hits it hard to center field. Burke's backtracking, makes the catch at the warning track, and Arias will tag and move to third after the catch. With 2 outs, it'll bring up Wendell McGee. He got the Phillies on the board with their first run in that 6th inning with a 2-out RBI double.
He had some good swings in these 2 games.
He's hit it hard all 3 times today. They've sent Burks back to the fence his first time up. Line drive to short, and then that double.
Well, as Whitey would say and be happy, he's swinging at the strikes and taking the balls. And that's what that's a good way to hit.
Speaking of balls and strikes, I think Cowboys done a really good job behind the plate today.
Hey, you've hardly even noticed him, which is
West,
always the best thing for a home plate umpire. Forget they're even there.
1 strike to Wendell McGee. Curveball on the inside corner, 0-2 to McGee. Bills on top 4-1 here in the 7th inning. Fouls it out of play. Still no balls and 2 strikes to Wendell McGee.
Wendell McGee is in a stance too. I mean, he looks like he's comfortable in a batting stance. He's not changing between pitches, between at bats. He's obviously found something at AAA this year and stayed with it.
Yeah, he used to have all kinds of different stances when he was here before.
Oh yeah, he was trying to find something.
Fair ball down the left field line. Arias will score, and Wendell McGee will have his 2nd double. Broke his bat on it, but slung it over the bag at third base, and the Phillies now lead it 5-1.
Maybe he's going to have a nice run now coming up here, because he got fooled on a big old hook and still was able to get his bat. And watch what happens. I mean, he gets fooled on it. He pulls off. He does everything wrong, but he still hooks it down the line, and it stays fair. And sometimes you have to have a little luck in the game, too, and he did there. But watch what happens. So you see, he pulls off this one. Whoa, but he still gets a bat on. And he can run too. Look at what an athlete he is. That's an old running back there.
So the Phillies now lead it 5-1. Here's Scott Rowland, who was twice struck out, singled, and knocked in a run. That's hit to deep left field. Bonds back in front of the fence, pulls it down right in front of the left field fence to retire the side. Phil's got a run, 2 hits, no errors, leaving 1. Stretch time, we go to the bottom of the 7th, 5-1 Phillies. Bottom half of the 7th inning, Phillies have a 5-1 lead, and Barry Bonds will lead it off. He has accounted for the lone run for San Francisco. He hit in the 4th. Opposite field home run to left center field, the only run Schilling has allowed. And Bonds to lead it off here in the bottom of the 7th. Schilling's only given up 3 hits, the homer to Bonds and singles by Bill Miller and by Brian Johnson. Two balls and no strikes to Barry Bonds. Drilled a 2-0 pitch well out of here. It's now a 5-2 ball game. Bonds another solo home run, his 30th homer of the year, and his 100th run batted in for the season.
Yeah, the only good part about it is he's hit 2 solo homers. Schilling's hanging around home plate right now. Just stares at him as he comes in, because Bonds takes a long time to go around those bases, but he crushed that thing. I mean, he got ahead 2-0 and hit it a long way. He seemed to just turn around then like Escalea said something to him. Bonds just turned around and looked at Escalea after he crossed home plate.
Well, it's now a 5-2 ball game, and Jeff Kemp, the batter, he is twice grounded out. One strike to Kemp. 1-1. Base hit, grounded back through the middle. So Kemp at first base with nobody out for Charlie Hayes.
Now here's what we're talking about. Now watch when Bonds comes across home plate. Now watch him turn around all of a sudden. See?
Escalera said something.
He said something to him. That's what I'm telling you. He said something to him when he went by him. And, you know, who knows what it was, but it's just that he takes so long to go around the bases. I mean, that's just his thing. That's Barry Bonds' style. And some people don't like it.
Well, at this stage of the game, they don't want to get involved in any kind of a repeat of what happened at Veterans Stadium. Phillies are leading this game 5-2.
Right, you don't want to wake the Giants up because they went in here with a nice little 4-run lead, and all of a sudden Bonds pops one, and Kent follows with a single.
1 ball and no strikes to Charlie Hayes, who has struck out and grounded out.
Barry Bonds 7 straight years now, 30 or more homers.
2-0 to Charlie Hayes.
And 3 times, at least 3 times, he's hit over 40. I think his high is 46.
Escalera calls time, trots out to talk to Curt Schilling.
There's Barry Bonds, who will be a first ballot Hall of Famer someday. I mean, 400 home runs, 400 stolen bases, and still counting on those numbers. It's just an incredible accomplishment.
He had 40 homers last year. His most in a season was in '93 when he had 46 home runs.
Yeah, that's the year he hit the 46, was 93.
Off the end of the bat, foul, 2 balls and a strike to Charlie Hayes.
Only 70 pitches. Schilling has not had many strikeouts today. He has a good ratio. He's had quite a few ground ball and pop-ups.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of reminiscent of that complete game he pitched at Arizona when he used 94 pitches. Just 3 strikeouts today. Chopped softly. Lewis is going to have to hurry. He'll get Charlie Hayes on the play. Kemp moves up to second base. 1 down with a runner at second for Ellis Burks.
Just a high chopper. Phillies just desperately need an out here just to stem a little of the momentum that the Giants were starting to build, and Lewis makes a nice play.
Ellis Burks has popped up and topped out in front of the plate.
Charlie not happy with that at bat.
Tried to check his swing, but Bobby Escalera wanted an appeal from Jeff Nelson and didn't get the appeal. Line drive in the gap in right center field, going all the way back to the fence. Kennel scored. Burks flying around second. He'll end up at third with a triple, and all of a sudden it is a 5-3 ball game. 6th 3-base hit of the year for Ellis Burks.
Well, these guys have a really good offense. I mean, we showed that at the beginning of the telecast today, the runs they've been scoring. And, you know, Schilling has a 4-run lead coming into this inning, and all of a sudden it's a ball game. Like a slider out over the plate. It spun up there a little bit, and he nailed it. And Ellis Burks shows you what an athlete he is. And that doesn't look like a triple when he hits it, and he turns it into a triple. See how hard he runs. And a great backup by Wendell McGee on that play. He was over behind third base, as was Curt Schilling. So there's no chance that ball was going to get by.
Bill Miller has struck out and singled. The Phillies will keep the infield back with a 2-run lead. The Phillies will get bullpen activity. Wayne Gomes gets up. In the dirt, blocked by Escalera. 2 balls and no strikes.
Here's this ball in the dirt. This could have been a run-scoring wild pitch, except for a nice play by Estalella.
2-0 to Bill Miller. 2 balls and a strike. We'll pause for station identification on the Phil's television network.
You're watching Phillies baseball on WPHL TV Philadelphia.
2-1 the count to Miller. Yorkie's Perez now has joined Wayne Gomes in the Phillies bullpen. Three and 1 to Bill Miller. Gomes and Perez. First walk given up by Schilling today, and the Giants have runners at first and third with 1 out. Galen Cisco is going to come out and talk to Curt Schilling. Brian Johnson will be the batter. So it's a 5-3 ball game here in the 7th inning. Cisco talking it over with Schilling. Brian Johnson, who has singled and grounded into a double play, will be the batter. Ellisburg's at third base. Bill Miller at first base with 1 out. Probably talking to what they're going to do if Bill Miller should run here. Driven deep down the right field line. It is a foul ball. Home run distance, but foul. One loud strike to Brian Johnson.
Brian Johnson had a pitch out over the plate, and he hits it hard. As Harry says, it's a home run distance. That might have been another slider. Johnson carrying the bat all the way down to first base, trying to wish it fair.
Sean Dunston has moved into the on-deck circle to bat for Brock.
This is a time when Schilling really needs a strikeout, and has not been a day when he's been piling up strikeouts as you look at Dunston.
1-1 the count to Brian Johnson. Hit him with a pitched ball. That loads the bases. Brian Johnson is hit by a pitch, and he is injured.
Isn't that who Leiter hit here the other night?
Yes.
I mean, he's had a tough series. And obviously, neither Leiter nor Schilling wanted to hit him.
And he kind of leans in.
Well, he threw him a fastball in the pitch prior to that and didn't get a call. And I'm sure Johnson thought this next one was going to go away, so he dove into that one and dove right into the pitch. He was out earlier this year with a broken thumb.
Checking over Brian Johnson, see if he can stay in the ball game.
He got hit on the hand the other night. That gets him on the elbow.
Now the Giant trainer, Mark Latendry, checking on.
Here it is again. It's just a fastball that's supposed to be in, and it whacks Johnson on the left arm.
And Terry Francona has an interesting decision as well. Does he leave Schilling in to try to get out of the mess he has created, or does he bring a pitcher in.
Dusty Baker's on his way out to check on Brian Johnson. Ask the trainer first, and back he goes.
Johnson is going to stay in. The bases are loaded, and now Joe Carter has replaced Sean Dunston in the on-deck circle with the bases loaded. Joe Carter will bat for the pitcher Brock. Carter lifetime against Schilling is 2 for 8. The 3 RBI day yesterday.
Phillies infield looking into the bench. He'll probably play a double play depth with 1 out.
Carter hitting at 218. His second home run for the Giants yesterday. He has 12 RBIs since coming over from Baltimore. Overall hitting at 243 with 13 home runs, counting his at-bats for the Orioles. So the bases are loaded with 1 out. Phillies with a 2-run lead, 5-3 here in the bottom of the 7th. But wide, 1-0. Schilling's control had been excellent until this inning. A walk and a hit batsman in this inning. 1 ball and 1 strike to Carter.
Well, it all started with Bonds hitting that home run, and then, you know, a little bit of words were exchanged, it looked like, at home plate. And since then, it's been trouble.
Low, 2 balls and a strike to Joe Carter.
Fastball's at 93.
Marvin Bernard waits on deck. Three balls and a strike to Carter. No room on base for him. Burks at third, Miller at second, Johnson at first with 1 out. Ground ball deep shortstop. They'll get 1 out. They won't get the double play. Coming in to score is Burks, and it's now a 5-4 game. They get Johnson at second base. And now they have to try to get out Marvin Bernard.
Well, at least they got an out, because it appeared that Schilling had the possibility there of walking in a run. Now you really had a problem with a 5-4 game, and whether or not you might even have to make a pitching change. Here's Alex, makes a good play, backs up, makes sure he gets 1.
Lewis returns the throw, and Carter hustled it. It was not a double play ball.
No. Bernard is 0 for 3, is grounded out, lined out to right, and grounded out.
So that what that was about was the positioning of the outfielders.
One ball and no strikes to Marvin Bernard.
They paid Bernard to pull, and also it looks like they play him the other way as far as the center fielder and left fielder. Glanville and McGee, there you see them, and then basically to pull and right where Abreu's stationed.
1-1 to Marvin Bernard. And the way they're playing would indicate that Schilling will go after him with fastballs. Ground ball up the middle, nice play area, splits to Lewis, and that will retire the side. San Francisco gets right back in at 3 runs in the inning. They do it with 3 hits, no errors, leaving 2, and after 7, 5-4 Phillies. Those lead by a run, 5-4 as we move to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Curt Schilling trying to complete his 13th game. He's gone 8 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 4 strikeouts, low strikeout game, 2 walks. Low total pitch game really for him, 100 pitches going into the 9th inning. Charlie Hayes fouls it off.
Yeah, and he struggled the last two innings. The
7th and 8th have been tough for him, as you mentioned earlier, leading the league in complete games by 3 over Greg Maddux.
And the American League leader also has 9 complete games. That would be that Scott Erickson of Baltimore. 1-1 the count to Charlie Hayes.
Phillies have Yorkis Perez up in the bullpen to go along with Leiter.
Fouled it on the play. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Charlie Hayes. There's the Phillies bullpen just in case Schilling needs help here in the 9th inning. Schilling wants to get it done himself here. A shaky 7th inning in which the Giants got 3, and then he got out of it. Jam in the 8th on that triple play. Hayes stays alive at 1 and 2, just getting a piece of that splitter. Hit to left field. Charlie Hayes is a leadoff base runner here in the 9th inning.
They play guard the line defense there, as Sean Dunston's going to come out and run for Charlie.
and with over near the line is Scott Rowland.
This is a routine ground ball to third, but when you're guarding the line, it is not. It's a base hit.
And it'll bring up Alex Burks.
Here's Schilling, and thinks that might be an out, but then with them guarding the line like that, it turns into a base hit.
Sean Dunston at first base, the pinch runner. Burks has tripled in 3 at-bats, driving in a run. Fouls it out of play.
See Dusty Baker not going to bunt for a tie here at home with the bottom of the lineup coming up. And a guy like Ellis Burks up there who, can drive the ball.
1 strike to Ellis Burks. Ground ball deep shortstop. Alex Arias goes to second and gets the lead runner. A good play by Arias. Yeah, Arias has had some ball game here this afternoon. 1 down.
He sure has. I mean, that's a tough play. I mean, he's cheating up the middle for a double play. Has to go to his right, keep his wits about him, and make a good throw off balance to second to get a fast runner. Dunston goes in head first, which gets you there slower, really, but a good play by Alex.
Well, that's 1 down with Burks at first base, and the batter Bill Miller, who has struck out, singled, and walked.
Baker has a left-handed move available, and that's Brent Maine, the backup catcher. We don't think J.T. Snow's available.
These bullpenners now are just kind of looking on.
That was J.T. Snow we just saw. See, that's the thing, the uncertainty of it, because they've been saying they didn't think he could play this weekend at all. But now they show him as a pinch hitter.
He is in the on-deck circle. Two balls and a strike to Miller.
He could be a decoy too, if they're thinking about bringing in Perez to pitch him to turn him around right-handed. Then they have Sanchez available from the right side, so we'll see.
Runner goes, but it's fouled out of play, and Burks will come back to first base. 2-2 the count to Miller.
That's what I mean. A lot of it could be a guessing game. The big thing in this game right now, as Dusty Baker looks on, is for Curt Schilling to get Miller out.
Yeah.
And Miller has been a problem.
Lifetime .408 hitter against Phil's pitching. Beats it foul. It's still 2-2 to Bill Miller.
He's a tough out. I mean, that was a good pitch he just threw him with 2 strikes, and he stays alive. I mean, that's a strikeout pitch, or at least one you might put into play weekly somewhere.
Runner goes again. It's going to be a stolen base since he was running, even though he would have moved up on a wild pitch. But he was running, so it'll be the 8th steal for Ellis Burks.
I think Burks gambles here that Schilling's going to throw a splitter, which would be tough for Estelea to handle, and he does throw the splitter. He gets a great jump, and the ball bounces up, and you can hear it hit Estelea. It sounded like it hit him in the mask.
So it is a full count now to Bill Miller. Fouls it straight back, still 3-2. So the Giants have the tying run in scoring position with 1 out here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Struck him out. 5th strikeout for Schilling, and a big one there for out number 2. And here comes J.T. Snow.
Boy, he throws a good fastball away. One of the best fastballs of the day, not only for velocity, but look at the location of this. Miller just can't get
to it. Schill couldn't have thrown that pitch in a better spot.
Snow batting at 240 overall. Much better left-hand hitter than right. 257 left-handed, just 164 right-handed. 0 for 6 lifetime against Schilling, and he is 0 for 6 as a pinch hitter. So J.T. Snow one strike to Snow.
They move Ray Sanchez into the on-deck circle. He would bat for Rob Nen. If this inning continues, Phillies hope to never see Sanchez.
On the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes to J.T. Snow.
That's right where he threw that pitch to Miller. I mean, Schill can get another fastball out there. Look at this. He hits his glove. Now, maybe it's a little bit outside. Maybe it's an expanded play. Tough to tell from that angle. But it was in a perfect spot.
Missing low. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Snow.
That was off speed. You see Dunson on at second. I mean, this would be Burks at second. If he goes back outside during the game.
Hard ground ball, but at Mark Lewis, ball game over. Phillies win by a score of 5-4. Curt Schilling wins his 13th and gets his 13th complete game of the season. No runs, a hit, no errors. 1 left for San Francisco. Wendell McGee with a 2-hit game. Wendell is our Chevrolet player of the game. He went 2 for 5 with a pair of doubles. Got the Phillies on the board and got them rolling in the 6th inning. Alex Arias also had a superb game. Arias had 3 hits and started that triple play in the 8th inning that got the Phillies out of trouble. Curt Schilling, not a big strikeout game for him, 5, but another complete game win, his 13th complete game and his 13th win as the Phillies hang on to beat the Giants by a score of 5-4. Well, the Phils have taken a lead in this series, 2-1 now with his 5-4 win over San Francisco. And an interesting game. Schilling struggled in that 7th inning, but came back and got the W. 5-4 over the Giants. So the Phils winning it by a score of 5-4 here at 3Com Park, and we'll be back with more right after these messages. at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. Final game of the series. Final game of the